Hello, welcome to Career Lounge Sessions, helping you to be a greater you. I'm your host, Dali Perez. This lounge is designed to help middle and high school students prepare for life after high school. Because you know how it is, failing to plan is planning to fail. And today we're going to talk about exploring industries, occupations, and jobs. But first, we want to give a special thanks to the Career Lounge session sponsor, EXL, a leading data analytics and digital operations and solutions company. To learn more about EXL, go to exlservice.com. Thanks to their sponsorship, we are able to bring this lounge to you at no cost. A little bit about us, we are Lover Youth, a 501c3 nonprofit organization providing programs for youth. Our mission is to leverage the power of collaboration to uplift and empower youth and their families within our community. So, before we kick off today's topic, let's learn a little bit about our panelists. So, we would like to start off by asking if each of you, our panelists today, to briefly introduce yourselves so you guys can share your name, tell us a little bit about yourself, your current role at your company, and why you choose your current career. So, who's going to go first? Who wants to share?
Can, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right, perfect. So I'm Alex Robertson, senior BI consultant, senior business intelligence consultant. I've been with EXL for 3 years, and I chose this career through organic path. I love data analytics, technology. I've always loved math and critical thinking. So it kind of marries all of those together, and it's an exciting organization to be a part of. And a career to be a part of because we get to help others understand data, use data, and make educated decisions.
Awesome. Thank you so
I
much,
guess
Alex.
I guess I'll go. So yeah, I'm Joe Quickle. Been with EXL now, like Alex, for 3 years. Um, my career path was a little different than Alex's. I started out in network engineering, doing fiber optics, and then uh, ended up in a consulting role where I was doing applications consulting. Ended up in a business intelligence development role that then spawned into being a senior leader in a data analytics team, and then I went back to consulting where I am now, just being on the bleeding edge of the technology.
All right, I'll go next. So Roshan Bajpatil here. I'm based out of Canada. So my career path was an interesting story. So I wasn't always in the IT field. I mean, professionally I was, but my educational background, it was in a totally different field. It was so I did my major in automotive engineering because I had at that point in time, I had a passion or a liking for automotive. So I decided to choose that as an educational background. But the way I landed in this industry was through a campus recruitment drive, and an opportunity got presented itself. And then yeah, I decided to go ahead with it, and I guess I'm like a living example of the fact that you shouldn't shy away from your comfort zone, and if something better presents itself in front of you, just don't shy away, from accepting it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And it's very interesting to hear like the different ways that you find your job, your occupation, what you're doing now, because for everybody looks different, right? So that's the beauty of it. Everybody has their journey, but it's important to know like this is my passion, this is what I want to do, and eventually everything with the right education and all that, you can find that place that you belong. So today we're going to talk about exploring industries, occupations, and jobs, those skills required for different jobs, the emerging trends, the job market, and all those different kind of aspects. So let's start with the first question. That will be, what is the difference between industries, occupations, and jobs, and why is it important to understand them? So I don't know, maybe Alex, if you want to jump in, or and it doesn't have to be the same person. All of it, the three of you, if you want to answer and bring, your knowledge on that, you could do so.
Sure. Yeah, I'd say it's important to just kind of understand the difference between them and how you get associated with it. So I've been in financial services my entire career, but I've done multiple different jobs along the way. So one of the biggest things that you've just heard from Roshan and Joe as well is that your career path isn't necessarily linear. So I started as a project manager working in technology and credit card services. And then I moved into an analytics role and then into an analytics manager role, managing a full team. And then now I'm in data management, still doing analytics, but just in a different sense. So there's differences between the job duties and the industry that you're in, and a lot of them are transferable. Right. So I've been in financial services. I have a background and understanding of financial services, but that's not to say that my skill set would not be transferable to another industry, say, such as like insurance. Right. There'd be learning gaps that I would have to understand the industry. But again, I could transfer all of my skills of understanding data and analytics to another industry as well. So I'll hand it over, Joe, if you want to go.
Yeah, no, building on what Alex just said there, yeah, it's a great point about the translating into different verticals. I was a senior manager in healthcare, and I do a lot of financial services and things now. While I did some of that for the company that I worked for in the health insurance business, I learned a lot with that. And so, as consultants, we really we're kind of utility players. We have to become and then be the expert in all of these areas and all the different technologies within at least specifically business intelligence, and then translate those skills into things like financial services, healthcare, uh, grocery and retail, manufacturing. Just the agility to be able to and aptitude to learn things is a very huge in our business.
Yeah, I guess adding to that, giving an example of my own career pathway. So I started my first job was, again, it was a data analytics role, but it was in the manufacturing sector. So after which, I moved to the banking and finance domain. It was investing banking domain, and then I switched to railroad. So this is an example of what industries are, right? So we have healthcare industry, we have manufacturing industry, we have banking, finance, insurance. All these are verticals. Consider them as vertical industries. And then you have horizontal, the role, the data analytics or the requirement for data analytics professional or business intelligence professional. Those you can consider them as horizontals, which are common to all these verticals. So being a analytics professional, being a IT professional, you have the agility or the ability to switch from one industry vertical to another industry vertical. So yeah, that's what I would define.
So would you say, with all that you guys have said, like, not necessarily, because sometimes the team can say, I want to do this, I want to be this and that, I want to be a lawyer or IT or whichever. Would you suggest that it would be good for them to explore different areas before getting into that? Or even though they're certain that they want to do that specifically, that they explore different areas so they have different skills? How will that, do you think, that work towards their journey to find that career?
Yeah, I can go. Yeah, I think it's a mixed bag. Mainly because I'd say find your passion, right? When I was coming out of high school and into college, I loved math, Right. But I knew I wasn't going to be a math teacher. I thought, would I be interested in engineering? So I did explore that path. I thought I would be interested in insurance, explored that path. And then I landed on applied statistics. It's a little different than mathematics, but again, it helps with the critical thinking. And I was passionate about mathematics in general. So that kind of helped me pinpoint what I wanted to learn and invest my time in and understanding. And then as I kind of grew my career, I learned that, okay, again, it's not a linear path. I got to ask questions. I got to raise hands. I got to volunteer for things. And I would say, don't shy away from something that might feel a little outside of your comfort zone, right? I like the phrase of get comfortable with feeling uncomfortable so that you can really stretch yourself and strengthen abilities that you might not know have had existed, and that might open up new doors for you.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Learn how to be comfortable with failure. You might, you might fail at something. I had a leader once who told me everybody fails, just fail fast. So it helps with trial and error, with figuring things out. If you've got a mechanical engineering kind of mind, um, go through you go through scenarios quickly.
Yeah, so what I would say is that I've met multiple different types of people in life who had a clear like a vision of what they wanted to do. Like example of what Alex just said, right? He loved math. I have known people who wanted to like pursue in that particular line of career, like in the form of research or become a professor or do PhD and pursue that line of career. But I've also met people who who are willing to take new things on the go, we're open to new challenges and not just like get stuck in the same. I'm not, when I say stuck in the same, but it's not in a bad sense. I mean, nothing is good or bad over the other, but it's just that in my case, I had always been open to new challenges and yeah, never settle has always been my motto. Never settle. The moment you get settled or in your comfort zone, that is when you would get outdated, especially in an industry like the technology space. So in order to stay relevant, you always need to be on top of the game. Just be open to change. I guess that's what I would say.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you mentioned that because in the world that we're living, everything is technology, everything is AI, everything is automation, and then we got to have those skills, right? So, what would you say that how does that technology impact like different industries and jobs today?
That's impacting every industry right now. Um, Alex, I saw Alex smiling there when I said that. We live this every day. um, Generative AI right now is one of the biggest trends, and we're seeing that buzz around every vertical. And I would give advice for students and incoming professionals. Learn about it. Learn how to prompt engineer. Um, it's going to be useful.
Yeah. So what I would say is that I may be biased, I may sound biased, but I have a good reason for that. When I say that technology is that one industry which is common factor to every other industry, you name it. Manufacturing, healthcare, finance, banking, renewable energy, whatever industry you name it, technology is going to be an integral part of it, and it will open avenues to any industry that you want to switch, just like the panel today. So uh, being able to switch from one industry in a consulting role is one of the biggest advantage of being in the tech sector.
And I would also add, as you have already said, Rashawn and Joe, is to adapt and be agile, right? So continue to learn. Agile is a methodology that we use, but it's to Joe's point of failing fast, right? So as you're trying to learn and develop, continue to change on your skills and brush them up because technology changes at the speed of light, right? We see that with the generative AI. initiative, right? That we've been seeing a lot. And then also, one of the softest skills that I think is so important is the communication aspect of things. So again, whatever industry you're in, it's communication and active listening, right? So understand what the needs are from your clients, from other professionals, and think about your responses to those. Be an active listener. I think goes a long way. And then I think the guys already touched on this, but really any type of computer programming, software development, right? I think goes a long way, and it's always transferable to other industries as well.
Absolutely. And now that you mentioned that, that is not, for example, if we're talking about like IT and this kind of industries that you not necessarily are speaking to the public, right? You're more like programming and behind a computer. Then you mentioned that it's not just that, you got to have other skills. So talking about this specific industry like AI and something, everything technology wise, what would you say are those extra skills that the person needs to be aware? Like, it's not just being the brain, but having these additional skills, and what will be the challenges that these persons will, have if they don't develop this kind of skills?
Yeah. So, um, as a programmer and somebody who spends a lot of time behind a computer, as you said, um, build up your soft skills. Those are translatable literally everywhere. Learn how to communicate. Critical thinking, adaptability, all incredibly important. In my career, I've seen a general theme that employers are looking for people that work well in teams and also show some leadership potential. That all really basically boils down to a mix of technical know-how and those interpersonal skills.
Yeah. So on top of the core skills that you need for any industry, um, core skills as in, for example, the tech IT sector, you need to have programming skills. But on top of that, equally important, like Alex and Joe said, is the interpersonal skills. And I guess in the foreseeable future, we are going to see a trend more towards hybrid and remote work. So being able to collaborate remotely with your colleagues and convey the right message at the right time is also going to be very crucial. And being able to get adapted to remote collaboration platforms, like what we're doing today is a very good example of that particular trend. So it's going to be very crucial. So you need to be really on top of the game in order to gone are those days when we used to meet our colleagues in person. Uh, so yeah, there's definitely going to be a shift towards remote and hybrid work environment.
Yeah, I think Roshan and Joe bring up really good points on that. Again, the communication and critical thinking, huge, right? The environments are different in what we're doing with the remote work. But then I would also say on top of that is time management, right? So a lot of time is yours for the taking, right? So is it how you're going to better yourself in what you're learning? Is it how you're going to balance the projects that you're working on? Is it going to be programs that you might be taking on, right? But it's all yours to really say, I have a finite number of hours in the day, and it can't all be work, right? But you need to kind of break it apart to say, here's where I'm going to dedicate my time, and these are my goals for the day or week or month. So kind of short term, medium term, long term goals, and how you're going to develop your own skills during that time that's available to you. And then kind of like the guy said, it is you're kind of getting your foot in the door as you learn and adapt and you get into those industries. You'll learn more on the job as well. So you're really getting your foot in the door saying, I have these skill sets. Here's how I really showcase myself. Here's my skill sets. But then what else can I learn on the job? How else can I be successful here?
I think we're losing him a little bit, but we are very aligned because that was literally my next question to you guys as far as time management. Because like you guys were mentioning, if we are remote, then usually what happens is that if you're at home, then you have a little bit more time for the coffee, or do you have something to do at home, and then everything can be a mess, right? So if you can give me some examples on how you guys manage your time, if you're doing work remote, or if you have done it before, like working from home, how do you manage your time? How could that look like? If you can give me an example of your day, how is that looking like from when you woke up and then when you clock out, and then how do you divide that time to make it, to do everything that you need to do, and not go into that rabbit hole of, oh, I need to do something here, oh, I want another coffee and stuff like that. How do you manage your time?
Last couple of years has been a lot big deal than it used to be. I was uniquely remote working. I've been remote most of the time for about the past 10 years, or maybe 12 years. Um, and I, a lot of times it takes a certain kind of personality to do that and stay focused. Um, like me, I usually I always have something going on in the background, probably music, and that helps me stay focused. A lot of times that doesn't work for people. But as far as the time management itself is concerned, um, I specifically have meetings every day, like everybody does. And so those are the things that happen recurring, that happen at a specific time. Um, I might be developing something at 11 o'clock, inspiration strikes or something. And thinking about something all day, and I come up with a solution to a problem, and I'll work on that. So you're not necessarily in a remote environment sitting there 8 hours, 9 hours a day, um, like you would in an office environment. You could be working 2 hours, then you're able to get some stuff done in your personal or day to day life, and then you come back to it. But the important part: get your work done. Focus on work when you're actually working.
Yeah, I guess it's really easy to get off track. I will have to admit, because I wasn't always remote. So I started working remote, I guess, from the days of the pandemic. So it was really a new shift for me, a drastic shift. But yeah, it's all part of the adaptability, right? That's the new norm. So we have to adapt to the changing times. So yeah, that was part of it. And looking at the bright side of working remote is what how the way I see is that you get to save on a lot of travel time. You get to save a lot of energy traveling. Um, because all my previous roles required me to travel like at least an hour one way. So that was the biggest advantage. Plus, like you said, a coffee break. So nothing is stopping you from taking that coffee break on demand. So you're not really bound by certain time frame. So you have the flexibility. So having flexibility, uh, can turn in your favor in many ways, right? That's how I look at it.
Awesome. So,
Yeah.
Alex, I want to jump back with you because before we lose you,
Yeah.
I mentioned that we were aligned because that was my next question. How do you manage your time? So, if you can give it an example of your day, how that could look like, and how, sometimes working remote, you don't lose the focus of what you need to do. And then sometimes it
Yeah.
happens, people that work from home are, maybe not get things done because a lot of stuff that they need to do. How do you manage that?
Yeah. As Joe was mentioning, my day is usually riddled with meetings, right? So I kind of start my day off of knowing when my meetings are scheduled for, and then also, again, what my short term goals are for the day, right? Do I need to get a visualization done? Do I need to deliver a dashboard? Those are all going to be kind of on the top of my mind as soon as I start my day. So really just kind of planning out how much time I have really helps me understand what needs to be accomplished for the day. Um, and then, as Joe and Rashawn are saying, it's not always I'm going to sit at my desk for 8 hours and that's the only thing I'm going to think about. Things do pivot, right? So I'll have meetings on different topics. So I kind of have to change gears throughout the day. But then it's also good to kind of rest your mind. So, I might take the dog for a walk over lunch, and I might still be thinking about work, right? I might have hit an issue earlier in the day, and I'm still kind of thinking, okay, I've stepped away from the problem. My mind's a little clearer. I'm taking a walk outside, and I can really think through the problem and come up with a solution that might just work. So it's not always going to be sitting at the desk and it's that's going to solve it every time. Sometimes you need to take that little coffee break or that walk just to kind of reinvigorate your mind, and help you understand how to be a little more productive.
Awesome. So there's a lot of people that love to work from home and they're very productive, but there's others that they say this is not for me. So, in your experience, what can you say about the pros and the cons of working from home, or those difference between going to an office and then working from home?
I can go first. So I very much love the remote work that I do. As mentioned, I do think I'm extremely efficient. I like to document a lot of things that occur during the day of how, again, what my goals are going to be for the day so that I know what I'm going to produce for the day. The drawback is you miss that camaraderie component or the team impact. So while I might not get to see Joe or Roshan throughout the day, it's important to still stay connected. So we get to do different meetings together, but we don't get to be in person as often as we would like. So I'd say that's probably the biggest drawback, is that you don't get to build that interpersonal connection as much as you would. But you just have to be more pointed with your efforts, right? So I might schedule a meeting with Joe just so we can connect for a little bit, so that we do get that interpersonal conversation going more than just all work. So I'd say that's probably the biggest drawback, and just trying to know who your teammates are, what they like to do, things like that.
Yeah, I agree with what Alex said there. It's in the days whenever everybody was working in an office, um, you intensely got to know people, and that is more difficult in the virtual space. Um, Working in a global business for as long as I have, we've had virtual meetings for 20 something years now that helped things, even video calls. Um, but yeah, it's nice to connect personally every once in a while. And being as geographically dispersed as we are, sometimes it happens, like if you're going on happen to be going on pardon me, vacation where one of your colleagues lives, which is actually happening in about a month. So see you then, Alex.
That's nice.
Yeah, I absolutely second that. So biggest advantage, at least that's worked for me, is the productivity and efficiency had increased manifold. And obviously, we don't get to meet people in person. That was what I used to miss in my initial days. But then we have technology for that. It's broken all the barriers, geographical barriers. So we have all the technological channels that we can use to meet, video calling, uh, Teams call, Zoom call, whatever. So all those technological advancements have broken those barriers, geographic barriers, and so uh, that's what I would say. Yeah.
Awesome. And would you say that, because sometimes if you don't be intentional, right, to meet them through within virtual or doing that vacation or something like that, sometimes the workload, if you work from home, it can separate you from society, right? So is it important, would you say, to find those places or those things, those hobbies to do after work, during the weekend, to socialize with people, because it could become a time that you are just in your home with your computer and the family that lives with you, and that's it, and you don't go out. What would you say about that?
I go grocery shopping every day. That's how I handle isolation, basically. Um, it just breaks up my day, helps me get out. As Alex said before, walking the dog. and just being around people is great. Um, I try to maintain a fairly active social life outside of work, so my weekends are usually fairly booked up. Um, but I also like staying at home. I've grown up a bit where I had to be doing something without at every waking moment. It seemed like early in my life and my career, but um, yeah, I still try to find ways to kind of break out of home.
Yeah, I guess it's a very thin line, between your work and your personal life when you're working remote, and it has happened with me. I'm speaking out of experience, so it took me some time to realize that I have to have that line. It's very important. Work-life balance very important. It's very easy to get carried away when you are so focused on your 8-hour shift. It may sometimes get extended to like 10 hours. Certain exceptional scenarios. So yeah, like both Alex and Joe have been saying, yeah, just take time off consciously and set reminders on your phone. Um, to take time off, to take breaks in between, and to spend time with family, and give more importance to your health. That's the most important thing.
Absolutely. And between all this, right, there's like some of you mentioned the remote is everything is changing. Most of the jobs are being done remotely and all that. How can the teens could be aware of those trends and how could they be like on top of that and how important it is to not just thinking about the traditional jobs that we know, but the trending, the trends that are now demanding more like high tech, more knowledge and all that. How important is that and how can they be, on top of that, of those trends that are emerging now?
I guess I'll go ahead. As I mentioned before, we are going to see a drastic change towards remote and hybrid work, and we are also going to see an uptrend towards um, freelancing. So there are so many platforms out there, that offers freelance work, because of all this rapidly changing technological advancements, we are going to see more of short-term contract works, which is already the trend right now. There's so many short-term projects available out there that can help you gain experience, hands-on experience, that can help build a profile, a portfolio for yourself when you are a fresher, especially. And then you have platforms like LinkedIn, where you can connect with the industry leaders and experts, and observe what's going on in the industry, be interactive, connect with them. And even if you don't really want to connect with them on a one-on-one basis, you can just follow their articles, and that's a good enough way for any fresher, any person with zero experience in industry to keep abreast of the updates.
I apologize. I keep connecting in and out. So sorry for that. Can you ask the question again, please?
Yeah, the question was there's a different trends right now. We're talking about the remote is working remotely is one of the biggest trends that is happening right now. But everything is keep changing. So how would you say the teens need to be updated with that and aware of the trends and how can they be on top of these trends and not just thinking about the old traditional jobs that they're still there, they're still needed,
Yeah.
but how important is that they know what the trends are?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I'd say embracing the change, as Roshan was just alluding to, staying current just with news and articles and maybe blogs of things that interest you, of how technology is evolving. I'd say in our current environment and what we're working with within data management, I'd say there's been more of the digital transformation push and how can all things move more cloud and faster and how can compute speeds be enhanced So it's things that you might not conceptually know yet, but you might hear terms and say, but what does that mean? I want to go look it up, right? I want to go read about it. So I think just embracing that change and keep asking, why or how or what, right? If you don't understand it, look it up and find out what it is. If you're not sure how it works, look up how it works, right? And you might not understand each piece of it, but really for you just to embrace the change and understand a little bit more about it, you'll just continue to better yourself, right? And really enhance your knowledge in those areas.
Awesome. Do you have anything to add to that, Joe? I don't know if you want to.
Thing I would have said there. So
Awesome. So would you say, because there's the job fairs, the industries event, would you say that that is still if effective, if you will, in this trend? That is it good for them to be exposed to these type of events or not for the teens?
I think so. I was I was helping putting on job fairs many years ago now, and that it seems like a great way to get especially younger people enthusiastic about different areas. They can directly ask questions, live to somebody. I happen to be doing those whenever I was in school for electronics engineering and technology, and we would go to elementary schools, middle schools, and high schools, and bring gadgets with us. And it really it built a lot of buzz around uh, kind of the industry and kind of what we were doing. So I do think that that's still a relevant thing in today's world. And then there's also virtual career fairs that you don't have the tangible put your hands on a gadget kind of thing as we do with in person career fairs, but those are still I think useful as well.
Awesome. So what final advice would you guys give the teens, that they're exploring the different options, different industries, different occupations? What final advice would you say to them?
I would say uh, just be, you have to be on top of the game. You have to be inquisitive, uh, be curious, and be proactive about learning and be open to change. Um, be okay to come out of your comfort zone because the job market landscape is changing rapidly. What's now is not going to be the same 5 years from now. So adaptability is very crucial and never settle. And I would say keep an eye on the industries that are innovating, especially the tech sector. And yeah, don't shy away from picking up new skills, uh, networking, build connections, and stay close to all the updates. There are so many open source platforms out there where you can discover so many opportunities, and you have online courses. So many platforms out there that give you online certifications that are very valuable. That gives you hands-on experience that will help build a portfolio, and then so many freelancing um, platforms out there that will land you some short-term projects and help build portfolio. So yeah, that will be my advice to all the students out there.
So Rashawn had an amazing answer there. So I'll just say these three things: keep an open mind, be flexible, and learn something new every day.
Right. Yeah, I'll bring it all together. I think Roshan, you hit a huge point of building a network. I think relationships go such a long way as you evolve in your, education and career path. You'll meet tons of new people. Don't be afraid to ask questions. What do you do? What do you like to do? What's your passion? it'll open doors for you, and you will continue to learn, and maybe something new will be out there that you didn't know existed, and at a minimum, maybe you'll make a new friend, right, or a new colleague. So you can't underestimate the power of knowing people, and being able to lean on your network of people, family, friends, again, classmates. It goes such a long way.
Amazing. So I think like we all can agree that we cannot put ourselves in a box. We got to learn different things. We got to have different skills, and we got to be able to shift. We need to shift while the times change. We need to change throughout the time and not stay the same. So thank you so much. Now we're gonna transition to hot seat. We would like to take some time to ask our panelists a few questions and put them in a hot seat so we are able to know them a little bit better. So each of you can answer the question: would you rather be able to fly or to be invisible? And why?
I'll take flying. Um, to be able to move pretty quick and avoid the traffic, assuming no one else can fly and I can just kind of maneuver my way through. I think getting places more efficiently would be pretty incredible.
Yeah. I guess flying has always been, like a fantasy dream for me, like Superman, So yeah, I always choose flying over, all other superpowers. Yeah.
I can listen to you, Joe. Do you guys listen to him, Alex? No,
Yeah, I can hear.
No.
we lost you. I don't know. Your voice is cutting out. Can you hear me, Joe?
Hear you.
Okay.
He's in and out. I heard him there just a little bit.
You're coming and going. Well, when I first read that question, I thought about being invisible. But now that you say that, and I have my family far away, I think I'd rather fly so I can be there and back very quickly, and not have to take a plane. Right?
Well,
That'll
Right.
be
you could be invisible and still get into a plane without anyone noticing you.
that would be a good
Yeah.
one. I don't know what I want to do now, but then the flying part, I could be there faster. And then go in and out like in a day. That would be awesome. So the next question will be: would you rather travel to the past or to the future, and why?
Future, anytime future, because past is something which we've already seen. So it's not that I would like to change something from my past by going back to the past. So future is something that's more fascinating and more curious to know what's going to happen in the future. So definitely, I would definitely go into the future than the past.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. So I like to say past because I'm a big history nerd. Um, and I would like to meet some of my family that I never knew. Um, but yeah, also as a technology nerd, I really want to see the future. So
And that would be interesting to see if we are gonna be the is it the Flintstones? The one that fly, no, the Jetstones. What, the ones that fly?
Jetsons.
The Jetsons. Yeah. What about the flying part,
Yeah.
Joe? Now that we can hear
Oh,
you.
what I said on that before was, can you turn the invisibility on or off, or is it always on?
Hmm. You choose.
So yeah, okay. I think still flying, but
Awesome.
And for me, I think I'd go future as well. Kind of the same reason that Roshan gave. Of we kind of know the past, although it'd be cool. I'm excited to see where we're at in many years.
So, talking about the future and traveling, if you could travel anywhere in the world right now, where would you go and why?
I think I'm based out of Canada, so winter is coming here and it's gonna get really cold. So I would really want. I already started thinking about some warm places right now. So anything south of the border, like Mexico or South America, would be my place to go. especially because winter is coming.
Yeah, I'd say Disneyland because it's Disneyland.
To have a little bit of fun. Yeah.
Yeah,
For me, I agree with Roshan. I really like the warm weather, and as it gets cold, I'm in Pennsylvania as well, so it will get cold. But I'm thinking I'd like a European vacation. I haven't been to Europe, but I'd like to travel and see a variety of cities, just to experience something new.
Awesome. I haven't been to that part of the world either, but I think I'll go to Bora Bora. Nice beach, clear water vacation. That will be amazing for me. So, thank you guys. It's been a pleasure to be with you today. Thank you for taking the time to be part of this virtual career lounge sessions. And thank you for joining us. So, we hope today's conversation has given you insight, has given you clarity on making plans for life after high school. So, special thanks to the virtual career lounge session sponsor, EXL, a leading data analytics and digital operations and solutions company. If you want to learn more about EXL, go to exlservice.com. Thanks to their sponsorship, we are able to bring you this lounge to you at no cost. We're looking forward to see you at our next virtual career lounge sessions. All the sessions are here on YouTube, so make sure you go to the playlist, watch all of them, like, subscribe, share with your friends, and see you in the next virtual career lounge session.